Hello. Thank you for joining me here today on our episode number. Jamie, what number is it? 38 of our Oikos live streaming here at Oikos. Oikos live streaming at Oikos. And what do we start with always? If you've been following this live streaming, us and our live streaming, you'll know we always start with tea. So I'm going to pour myself this cup of tea, which I'm really looking forward to. I hope you saw that nice steam. And I also hope you spotted this little smiley face over here. There's another one over here. Because I want to talk about those today. It's a reminder, because this month's theme is all about not complaining and about having joy and about being thankful and about turning our difficulties and our trials into something that we can grow from and be glad for. And because this is the theme this month, it feels as though the tests have come fast and furiously to us. This morning has been somewhat of a tsunami, but it's good because now I can just come here and sit down and have a cup of tea with you in the midst of all the craziness. And the other reason why it's good is because I get to be challenged and learn to continue smiling through the storm. Okay, and tea always helps. Okay, I'm sure tea always helps. So whoever's there with me now at the moment, thank you for joining me. Those few people that are there, I can see you are there, and I'm going to just pop out this chat thing so I can follow you if you're asking me any questions. If there's anybody there asking any questions, I keep losing the chat thing. I don't know why, but I'll just do it again. Then please just put your questions here. Do you know why I keep losing the chat? Because it just went away, and now it says restore chat, so I will. There you go. And there is Karen. Hello, Karen. Hello there. I'm hoping that our mommy in Canada, who likes to join us at these live streamings, and last week she called it a mini mom's retreat. And so I really enjoyed that because I thought that's a good way to reference these live streamings, to call them mini mom's retreats. However, I want to, before I go into answering any questions that you might have, that you might put on there if you're there visiting, I would like to just make a few announcements. And the one is to thank you for your patience and thank you for your enduring with us while we play catch up. And thank you for keeping on smiling with us, because it has been catch up time here. Since we came back after the festive season, we've obviously had to catch up what was waiting in the queue. And then as the year began, the orders and the people that have needed help from the beginning of the year, there's just been a bit of a backlog. But the good news that we can smile about is that we're nearly all caught up. We actually thought that, I can't remember, I think last Friday we were nearly there, but then, of course, with the daily activity of more orders coming in, we won't go into all the detail of it, but suffice to say that we are almost all caught up. I think the last estimate was that we will be caught up by the beginning of next week, meaning that all the backlog will be caught up and we'll be able to deal with the daily. Instead of 3 days in one, we'll be dealing with 1 day in one, we hope. Okay, so thank you for enduring with us, and thank you for being patient and so understanding. And do you know that today I've spoken to quite a few moms, and I've just been so grateful for their kindness. You know, even when mistakes happen, we make mistakes. Even when that happens, the consideration of the moms and them being so kind and understanding that maybe we're a bit stretched and, you know, we're making mistakes, and the understanding of that. And I just want to thank you for that. I want to thank those of you who have had some difficulties in whichever way it might be. Even the payment gateway on our website, we had some challenges with that at the beginning of the year, and those are sorted. But while we were sorting them, people were needing to just endure with us, and I thank you to those people for having been patient and extending grace and just being kind and nice. Thank you for that. And on the topic of payment gateways, the good news is that we now are offering instant EFT on our payment gateway, which means whether you want to pay with credit card or EFT, it's used to be that when you paid with credit card, it was instant, as in the order was processed immediately thereafter. There weren't delays with waiting for the bank to let us know the payment's been cleared and all that. Well, now we've got instant EFT, which does the same thing. It's as instant as credit card, excepting it's not a credit card payment, it's an EFT payment. But it's as instant as the credit card. So the good news is that there's no difference between whether you're paying EFT or credit card, no difference to the timeline, the time frame of which you receive your order. So you might be, I know we've had a lot of calls of people asking, when's my order coming, how long does it take, and so on and so forth. You'll see on our website that we say between 2 and 10 days. And we say 10 days because we don't know what's happening in the climate of environment, as in roads and weather and so on. But on our side, when we receive an order on the website in Oikos, the processing timeline of that, from receiving it to it going out the door, is between 24 and 48 hours. So that's where the 2-day part comes in. Now you've got the transport of that. So once it leaves Oikos, there's the transport. So it's got quite a lot of considerations and logistics in that regard. And in fact, just this morning, we heard of something in the courier setup that was actually causing a bit of delay in getting your order to you, say, 1 day earlier. And so now we're looking at how to streamline that so we can remove that little delay that was causing an entire day's delay, which years ago a day wasn't a long time, but now it is a long time. I was at a function on the weekend where there were a lot of elderly people, and I was sitting listening to their conversation. And the majority of the people at this function were mid-70s and upwards. And I was fascinated at their conversation because they were talking about the days when they used to send telegrams and how it took 3 months to get news from somebody. And now there's this instant, we know how instant it is. Look, I can sit here and I can talk to people anywhere in the world instantly, right now, live. So that's very, very exciting that we have been able to speed things up like that. But on the other side of that, of course, it can result in some lack of patience. It can result in people not growing in patience, becoming more impatient instead of more patient. So I hope that this instant, quick, immediate service doesn't actually result in your children not growing in patience. So just a little thought there to think about how you need to focus on actually teaching your children the importance of patience, because it is pretty much an instant world that we're living in. And so it's important to not neglect teaching them about patience, because they will need it when they're parents one day. You as parents know you need patience with your baby and your children. So they're going to need that quality, that characteristic of patience. There were a couple other things I wanted to tell you about. The one, I wanted to thank you for your patience, and I wanted to thank you for your understanding of the backlog and the difficulties that you might have been having, and you've pressed through with us. And then we've got instant EFT and credit card payment, which means that's going to speed up the processing of your orders, we hope. And we are trying even more ways to speed up the courier side of things. We're doing the best we can there too, looking at ways that we can make that quicker for you. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about today was the out of stock matter. Now, there might be a few, not might be, there are a few things on the Oikos website that are out of stock currently. It's not many, because actually our goal is for there to never be anything out of stock on the Oikos website. But, things are out of our control sometimes. Let's say, for an example, we import some of our resources and we work out how many we need to carry us for, say, a 3-month period, and we order that number, but plus extra just to be safe, and then they don't all arrive. Even though they've been invoiced and paid for and everything, we might not receive the full quota. That could happen. Another thing that can happen is the shipment could get delayed and delayed, that we've had that happen numerous times. And so when it comes to the resources that we need to import to have on our website to offer to you, there's many logistics involved in that, and we are always working at there not being an out of stock situation. However, sometimes it happens. And then people ask us, when will that item be back in stock? And we can't actually just answer that next week or in February or in a month from now or 7 weeks from now, or because we don't actually know. We can give a kind of an estimate, but when we've done that in the past, then it's difficult, because we might say we're expecting that shipment in 6 weeks' time and it might take 12. So what happens is we create a whole lot of extra management unnecessarily for you and for us. So what to do about that? Well, the first prize is for us to try and work out not being out of stock. When we do go out of stock of 1 or 2 items, we know we've put there is a shipment on its way. We can go track that ship and we can see it's telling us it's going to take 3 weeks to come, and we can get a closer estimate. But even that is difficult, because we've had situations whereby the ship has come in on the date that it said it would, and then it gets stuck in the harbour because there's a strike happening for 2 weeks. And now all of a sudden it's 2 weeks, takes 2 weeks longer. But I don't want you to feel as though because of this you are, I'm giving you non-specifics here, so now where does that leave you? So what I want to do is I want to help you with that where does that leave you situation. That is to say to you that all the resources that are absolutely day-to-day requirement resources, those ones we've worked very long and hard at, actually many years, to get printing rights and distribution rights on those, so that we can do a continual feeding of the stock of that ourselves, because of us printing and having printing rights of those critical things. And then there's the next level to that, which are the supportive resources to those critical resources. And those ones we also do our best to try and manufacture as much of that, or publish as much of those as we can. And then it comes to the next level, and those ones are ones that we either cannot at all publish because we don't have printing rights, or whatever reasons. We aren't able to actually manage that next level ourselves entirely, as in see to it that we can print those books and get them on the shelf and get them out to you. And so it's in that level, that category, the third one, whereby there will be some resources there that we may go out of stock of, and we will be very aware that that's not good, and we need to get the stock back, and we will be working on it all the time. In the unusual event of one of the first category, the critical ones, going out of stock and us not supplying it and it not being on our website, it is normally a very short window of time that is happening. And it could be happening because of all kinds of reasons. It could be that our printers have a problem, and so we're a little bit behind by a few days of printing because there's been some massive breakdown, in which case we run out of stock temporarily, but we're onto it and we're going to be getting the stock back on the shelf. That is our out of stock situation in that first category. The second one is the same, and the last one is the second one being the same, in that we can print some of those items but not all of them, but they're not as critical, and so on and so forth. And then the last one is we just actually cannot print them at all, and so we have to import them. But now we've run into a bit of an extra difficulty, and that is that some of the items in that third category actually should be in the first category, because I'm going to give you an example. Let's say the language program, there's 4 readers to go with it, and the first book that the student needs to read is a book that's on our website, obviously, because we've got all 4 readers, but this particular one, number 1, is out of stock, and it could be one that we have to import. Now, in that instance, if that's the case, then you are maybe feeling a bit stuck. Now, what am I going to do? I can't get the book on Oikos, it's out of stock, and it's the first book that your child needs to read. But what I want to ask you to do is just please relax about that, because first of all, it's their book studies. So if it is so that your child comes to do that book study and you haven't even got the book for them to have read for them to do the book study, just continue on through the language program. Don't allow that to cause you to panic and put the brakes on and not continue with the lessons, because you can actually continue while you wait for that book. And while you're waiting for that book, we are doing everything to get that book as soon as we can, because we know it's in that critical category. All right. And so we don't like it that you can't get that book. We're doing everything we can to see to it that you do, even if it means that we're having to source it from a different source to where we normally do, so that we can get it fast, express, and all those things, and pay premium and make a loss on it. Doesn't matter. We're doing what we have to get that book so that it's not out of stock, so that you can have it for your lessons. All right. But I'm just explaining all of this for you to understand that it is not our choice, and it's certainly not ideal if the books are out of stock. Any of the resources are out of stock on our website. And hats off to those in the behind the scenes in Oikos who are working so hard at keeping that stock in place, and they do everything they can. So please, just as much as you've been so patient with us at the beginning of this year while we get everything going nice and smoothly and as speedily as we can for you, I'm just going to ask for the same with out-of-stock items, for your patience and your understanding, and I really appreciate it. And I want you to know that we really, really do understand that you do require that resource, and we don't like it that it's out of stock, and we're doing what we can to get it in stock for you. Okay, so I just hope that's helped you to get some more understanding about that. And here we have some other moms that have joined us. Thank you for joining us. I think that's Mandy. Mandy, is that Mandy from Westville? Let's see. I wonder if you're going to come to another mom's retreat. Mandy, if that is you, hello and thank you for joining us. There's a mom in Canada that joins these live streams. I see she's not there today, not that I can see at the moment anyway. And she is calling them mini moms retreats because she can't actually attend a mom's retreat. Obviously, she's in Canada. Maybe she will one day. But anyway, I love the fact that she was calling them mini moms retreats, and it's reminded me, if that's Mandy from local Mandy, if you're going to come to a mom's retreat again, that would be lovely. Bring a friend and we can see you if that is you. Or whoever happens to be watching this, if you'd like to join us at our mom's retreat, we do have mom's retreats here at Oikos. And if you want to know more about them, you can go on the website to events, and there is, you click on that and it tells you the dates of when the mom's retreats are, and then you can click on the email that you send to inquire about more information about it, and then you get an email with all the information about the catering and the everything, accommodation and everything you need to know. And no, I don't. Mandy says she's showing me a yellow smiley face. Do you see the yellow smiley face? I don't see it. Sorry. And yes, it is Mandy from local. It's wonderful. I'm so glad you could be there with me today, Mandy. I'm glad you mentioned the yellow smiley face, Mandy, because it's just reminded me that I wanted to talk to everybody about these yellow smiley faces. And just as I was talking about out of stock things, we have run into a situation where our yellow smiley faces have run low, and we're doing what we can to see to it that they can continue to keep going out. But then the warehouse is closed and they only open on this day. We can't get that. It's how it is at the beginning of the year. But we just wanted to mention to you that if you didn't happen to get a smiley face in your parcel, apologies for that, but it's not going to be long, that there'll be a little gap of parcels, a little time period of parcels that go out when people are not getting their smiley faces. But we're going to fix that very quickly, and we're excited about it, and these smiley faces are going to continue to come to you because we want to continue to remind you about the joy. That joy is our strength. No matter what, we must continue to have joy, because it's just not worth not having joy. It's not worth it. We get depleted and exhausted and run down, and all those negative emotions come when we are having this problem. grumpy upside down faces. We want this, don't we? That's what this month's about. It's about having joy and reminding us at the beginning of the year, January, the month of joy, and to keep it going all through the year. So that's why we're sending you smiley faces to please put up in your home to remind you, keep smiling, and all your children. Okay, I'm not going to be able to go too long with this live streaming. Do you know why? Because we are having streaming problems. How's it going there, Jamie? Not good. Okay, ladies, I'm going to have to go because I don't even know if you're getting any of this. So we're going to end this live stream. We're going to go work on it and we're going to get it onto the homepage so those who couldn't be with me here can watch after the fact. For those of you who have endured with me, thank you for being there. And I hope to see you next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. That's what we're aiming for always. Wednesdays at 3 here in South Africa to do our live streaming. So bring your questions because that's what I'm here for, to answer any of your questions. And I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you for joining me. And we are just like we're keeping on working on the out of stock story, we're doing the same with this live streaming. We're doing what we can to make it more stable and consistent and all those good things that we need it to be. Okay. Thank you. Keep smiling. Bye.